promise I'ma be the guy you want me to.
Go ahead, I know you let your mind race, but I said I'd always let my heart stay. And even when I know that you are miles away, you've been a friend and I miss you dearly.
Hello everybody! Today we are in Volvo's triple threat, the 2020 S60 T8. It is turbo, supercharged, and hybridized. It is all of the above when a lot of people could only ask for maybe one, maybe two at the same time. That's one of the really interesting things that Volvo is doing. They're simplifying their lineup and offering engine choices, the T5, 6, or 8, that have all different ranges. The T5 coming with just a turbo, the T6 with a turbo and a supercharger, and the T8, like this one, having both of those previous options and the addition of the hybrid system. It is a plug-in hybrid, so you can charge it at your house to your leisure if you would like, or you can toss it in its hybrid mode and let the car do its charging itself. When it's fully charged, you can get anywhere from 20 to 25 miles of all electric range. Kind of depends how you drive it, but most of the time it'll default to trying to get you to use your electric battery to try and encourage a little bit more EV driving or just less gasoline engine. You can see in your gauges here, as soon as you go past the little lightning bolt and dip into the little, I would say, oil drop or gas drop, that's when you actually fire the engine up, and that's when it actually starts getting into all the crazy complex things that are stuffed under the hood of this car. Something I am constantly amazed by as I pop my face under the hood of these Volvos is just how much is under there. This one doesn't scream overtly sporty. It's not the Polestar engineered car, but that's okay. This one we have here is an Inscription, so it's made to be a little bit nicer, feel a little bit more luxury. We've got the nice comfy brown interior in here. Really sets off the white exterior really nicely. You've got this crystal shifter here in the center console that is either good for a laugh or good for a, ooh, well that's pretty cool. Kind of depends on the person that's looking at it. I thought of it as a little gimmicky at first, but the first time you drive it at night and it's all lit up and looking all cool, it definitely feels a little bit more special than some of the base cars with just the regular shifter. This car really is pretty understated and doesn't say all of the things that it's hiding. You can catch people off guard really, really easily when you start smoking all four tires off a stoplight and they are sitting there bewildered as to how that plain white Volvo just disappeared off into the distance as quickly as it did. And boy, is it quick. I've been really surprised. I've gotten to take it through a nice canyon drive today and kind of hustle it around, and it is very well balanced and very poised. I was surprised. I expected it to be a little bit more floaty, maybe a little bit more body rolly, just because of the luxury orientation that it takes. But the dampers in here, especially if you get it into their sport mode, really make a difference at keeping this car flat. There is very, very minimal body roll, but still a very comfortable ride. You're not sitting getting jarred around by all the bumps and getting smashed around in your seat, but at the same time, it doesn't just feel like you're on an aircraft carrier rolling down the hill hoping that it's going to stay in a straight line as you approach your next turn. So it's very nice to have kind of a good balance with it. And as far as the cars that this competes with, it kind of needs that balance. It needs to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more fun, and without being quite as overtly rah as some of those cars that it competes with. I think this car kind of fits in a unique niche, especially as everything in its segment is slowly going performance hybrid, getting mild hybrid additions to their lineups to try and make the cars A, more efficient, but B, feel a little bit more engaging and a little bit more exciting. The T5 could feel just a smidge underpowered, and the T6 felt like a nice balance. It felt like a nice sweet spot in the lineup, but neither of those really got going to set your pants on fire, whereas this one, if you catch it on the right day, catch it in the right mode with a nice full charge, you can surprise yourself and the occupants with just how quick it will move. It is a very well refined, very well put together technological showcase of what Volvo is capable of accomplishing right now. They have all of the induction forms, anything that they saw on their sheet. They're like, turbo? Sure. Supercharger? Sure. Hybrid? Why not? Just let it get better gas mileage too. And it does get pretty reasonable gas mileage when you're not just mashing it all over the place. I'm averaging about 35-ish miles per gallon out on the highway and around 30-ish in town. So I've been finding that to be plenty adequate for what it is, as long as you can keep your foot out of it and not try and pass every single thing that comes up in front of you, then you can actually do pretty well. I've driven it around in the EV mode and seen how far it can go and kind of where the tip-in points are and where it'll switch you back over to the gas side of the car. And I've been pretty impressed. You can go up hills and you can drive around in the all-electric mode without it just immediately switching over all the time or getting mad at you because it doesn't have enough power to do what it wants to do. It actually feels pretty good just driving around in the EV mode. A little bit better than some of the other plug-in hybrids I've been in recently. And to boot, goodness, you can haul the mail, baby. Woohoo! All right. This thing is responsive. You put your foot down in the middle of a corner, you have maybe just a pinch of lag, but man, when it charges up and starts going, it goes. So here's the roughly $65,000 question. Is would you have one of these over its competitors? Volvo's always been a unique choice in any segment that it plays in. They're more luxury oriented, so if you're looking for something that prioritizes comfort over outright sportiness and speed, this is a great option. This particular one balances sport really nicely with comfort. You don't get a ton of body roll, you don't get a ton of looseness in the steering. Everything feels tight and well built without feeling wallowy. The other nice thing about these is that you just don't see them really that often. You see the S60 every once in a while, you see a V60 every once in a while, but very rarely do you see the T8s. It definitely earns some extra brownie points that way, but it's a car you have to drive a little bit more to appreciate, whereas I feel like some of the competition you appreciate it a little bit more just because of what it is. There's a lot of haloing, going for the badge of certain manufacturers, and kind of makes them feel a little bit more special than they actually might be. But it kind of takes away from some of the luster of a car like this that is so fun and so impressive. There's really not any complaints that you have. Anything that I could say is really just nitpicking. There's nothing I've been just overtly mad about while I've been driving this car, nothing that's just ticked me off. There's a couple little things in the infotainment that you have to get used to, but that's like any car. There's some things that are in different places. There's menus in odd places, and there's buttons and switches for some things and not for others. So you just got to learn the car. But once you do, it's very intuitive. It's very easy to customize and set up kind of how you want the car to run whenever you drive it. The driver profile system takes a lot of things into account, and I really enjoy it. Plus, when you get to stop and get on the highway and put it on the wood, it goes. Doesn't sound particularly good. It sounds kind of blendery, but you can hear all of the things going on at the same time. You get a little bit of a whistle from the hybrid, you get the whine from the supercharger, and a little bit of from the turbo if you really pay attention to it. So final thoughts on this S60. The powertrain is absolutely revolutionary. It's so refined for how complex it is and for the vast number of things it has going on all at the same time, but you'd never know. If you were to get in it and nobody told you all the different stuff that it has, you'd probably just think maybe it's turbo, maybe it's supercharged, not all three. It gets down the road in a very composed manner. It's very quiet on the inside. Like I said, luxury is the priority of this car. It's super comfortable. It has options that people who want a nice driving experience want. It's got the massage seats. It's got heated and ventilated seats. It's got an infotainment system that has so much depth, yet at a surface level, it's very easy to operate. You could have somebody who's not super familiar with a bunch of the new technology get in here and show them how easily it's laid out and how you can swap back and forth from things really easily, and I don't think it would give them too much of a problem. If you want to dig more into your menus and find some of the hidden stuff that's in here, that's great, but you don't have to. You can keep it at a very base level of operation, and it does great. great all-around package that's unique, because you don't see these things out on the road. I see the S60 occasionally, I see a V60 occasionally, you see much more of the XC Volvos, the big SUVs and the smaller SUVs, but these are a little more few and far between. For the amount of S4s or C43s you would see in a day versus the amount of T8s, you would have a special car. You would have something that's a little bit different than some other people at the office and is still worth bragging about. It's still nice. And you get a better deal on it most of the time because it actually undercuts the competition by a little bit. Still gets all the things you want, still has all the luxury features, still drives itself very nicely when you use the pilot assist. Very comfortable, very happy driving it. I can't really think of too many things that I can complain about in this car. It's one of my favorites I've gotten to drive all year. It's a great all-around package. It's very exciting, it's very different, it's very unique, and that makes it special. And it's got a crystal shifter. Huh. But in all seriousness, there's not too much I can fault this car on. Maybe it could have a slightly different interior to the rest of the lineup, but it helps Volvo across the board. It saves time on crazy designs and really makes the cars user-friendly to anybody who's been in one of them before. And to that, hats off. They did a great job. This car is special. It's different, it's fun, it's not your average choice, and that's what I really like about it. It's svelte, it's sleepery. People have no idea that it's packing 400 horsepower when you roll up next to them. And as you silently kind of creep up, they really don't think much of it until you disappear. And then they will come up and start asking you what the heck that thing is and how they get one. So, if you like this car review and you'd like to see others that I do, I've got some more on the channel. You can follow me on Instagram at Driven Summit. Check out the Facebook page at Driven Summit, or keep checking back here for new reviews. We try and get them out whenever we do long road trips, and we're about to spend another 5-6 hours in this car, so we've got a lot of day left, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for stopping in and checking this review out. Let me know if there's something you want to see more of or something you'd like to see less of. I'm more than happy with all the suggestions. Throw them my way. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next time.